Hi, it's Thursday, 14th of May 2020, and I'm about to make a steamed vegetable dish for dinner. I have here potatoes. I have four types of potatoes. These are white baby new potatoes. This is Indonesian honey sweet potatoes, which I got from Eon. This is same as this baby washed baby potatoes. I also got these from Eon. This is Japanese purple cucumber. They say it's purple cucumber, purple sweet potatoes, but I think it's only the skin that's purple, not the flesh. The flesh looks white to me. And I've got a Bangladesh new potato. Okay, these Bangladesh ones are not as white as these. When I cook my potatoes and sweet potatoes, I leave the skin on because the secret is 90% of the nutrition is in the skin, and I also eat the skin. Okay, but before I cook them, I've already, as soon as I come back from the grocery store or supermarket, I soak them in Kangen 11.5 alkaline water for at least 12 minutes. That's what the recommendation is. But I'm running out of Kangen water enhancer, so what I do is I use 1 tablespoon of sodium bicarbonate per liter of water. Okay, so I'm going to put this on now on my what do you call it, stove. They take 13 minutes to cook perfectly, and okay, this one's already got 12 minutes to go, so it's 1 minute short. Okay, so anyway, these other vegetables here, I have 2 types of mushrooms. I have 3 shiitake mushrooms which I've sliced, and I have 3 grey oyster mushrooms which I've also sliced. I've got white cabbage which I've cut into large-ish pieces, and I've got purple cabbage which I've cut into largest pieces. I'm going to add some beetroot which I haven't cut up yet, and some broccoli. Okay, so I'm going to steam this. This will take exactly 3 to 4 minutes to cook. So I'm going to cut them up and add them when it's almost time, when there's 3 or 4 minutes left on the potatoes that are steaming. Okay, so I'm going to stop the video now and cut this beetroot and what do you call it, broccoli up, so that I can put it in time together with the potatoes, the sweet potatoes and the 2 types of potatoes. I use a variety of potatoes so that I make sure I get a diversity of nutrients. Oh, I also got some spring onion here, so I thought I'll just cut a piece up and put it on my salad and eat it as well. Haha, cutting up the spring onion reminded me that I forgot to put onions. So this is a piece of rose onion. It's a dark red or purple onion. According to Joel Furman, the ones with the least nutritional value are white onions, followed by slightly better is yellow onions. But these red onions or purple onions or whatever you call it, these in Segi Fresh they're called rose onions. I suppose because they smell sweet or something. Anyway, shallots are also very high in nutritional value. In fact, the darker the color, the more nutrients it has. Okay, the pigment is the thing which provides a nutritional value. So I'm gonna thinly slice this and put it on top of my salad here before eating it. Sorry, I keep forgetting to put things. I guess I'm hungry. So anyway, here goes. Okay, I've cut up the onion into thin slices and put it on top here. I haven't stirred it all up yet. And while cutting the onions, it reminded me that I forgot about the garlic. So what I've got is 2 cloves of garlic here, which I've peeled and lightly tapped with the back of my knife like this. Okay, the whole idea is to smash it and let the oils react. There's some enzymes. It's quite a complicated story. There's some enzymes which needs oxygen to produce the beneficial chemical. Okay, once it's produced, it's heat stable, but it takes about 10 minutes to be produced. So you smash them up to let the juices or oil come out rather than cut them up, and then let it be for 10 minutes for the reactions to take place before eating it. Okay, so I'm going to let it, what do you call it, rest for 10 minutes now before continuing. Okay, I'm gonna add some vinegar now. Now, if you read the vegan recipes, they will always tell you to use balsamic vinegar. However, balsamic vinegar is very expensive. So what I use is I use this regular distilled vinegar with a little bit of balsamic vinegar there to get rid of the harsh taste of this vinegar. Sometimes I use apple cider vinegar, but I've run out, and since I'm quite broke, I bought this cheap vinegar instead of apple cider vinegar, because Bragg's one bottle is about 18 ringgit, and S&W or Heinz apple cider vinegar is like double the price of this cheap vinegar. But you just put this and a little bit of this, and then it'll be fine. Won't taste horrible. Now, the important thing is to use vinegar rather than lemon juice or lime juice, especially when you're eating vegetables. Okay, explained by, I think, Caldwell Esselstyn, the vinegar has acetate in it, which will combine with the nitrates in the vegetables and produce nitric acid or nitric oxide, which is good for your heart and arteries. Okay, lemon juice is citric acid and ascorbic acid. It's not acetate, so it doesn't do the same job. So the whole reason is to add vinegar. Doesn't matter what type of vinegar, but this cheap vinegar tastes not so nice. So I put a little bit of this balsamic vinegar to mask the taste of this horrible vinegar. If you're rich and money is no object, then you can use 100% balsamic vinegar. Okay, now having put the vinegar, you can add some spices. So what I'm going to add today is some parsley leaves, some dried mint leaves, as well as Italian herbs. I had some Thai basil or sweet basil, or what else do I sometimes use? fresh, what do you call it? Fresh mint. Sometimes I use that, but I've run out of fresh herbs. So I'm going to use these dried vegetables after I've put my vinegar, and then I'll add some black pepper or white pepper depending on my mood, or even red pepper depending on my mood, and then I'll mix it all up and eat it. Okay, so, and sometimes when I'm feeling a little crazy, I will add some chaat masala. Okay, now the other thing is I don't use salt because I'm quite used to it now. It takes about 6 months for your taste buds to be desensitized to salt. But if I do want to add a little bit of saltiness, instead of using salt crystals, I add this stuff which is salty. It's Maggi seasoning, which is very similar to tamari sauce. It's made from wheat, fermented wheat. Or I use this stuff, which is Lee and Perrins. However, Lee and Perrins also is fermented anchovies, ikan bilis. Okay, so I'm so, like, not to say addicted lah, but used to the taste, so I can't get away from it. So if you're going to be truly vegan and haven't developed a taste for Lee and Perrins, don't take it, because it can be quite, well, addictive is the word, I suppose. Okay, let's not beat around the bush. This stuff can be addictive. Okay, so if you haven't started on it, don't use this. But if you have, you can't help it, then use a little bit lah. Don't use a lot. Okay. Now, in my cooking, I don't use salt. At a pinch, if I do have to add salt crystals, I add it after cooking rather than during cooking. That way you'll only use 25% of the salt that you'll normally use. Okay, so that's a good way to cut down on salt, because when you add salt after you've cooked, it only covers the surface of your food, and you can taste the saltiness. If you cook it with the salt, then the salt will be imbued together with the vegetables. And Malay say it tastes nicer because it's mesra and all that. However, you'll be eating 4 times the amount of salt for the same taste. Okay, so because we are talking about health rather than for taste here, I'd rather, if you do need to add salt, add it after you've cooked rather than during cooking. Okay, I don't put salt in my cooking at all nowadays, all right, because I use this, or sometimes soy sauce, or sometimes tamari sauce, or liquid aminos, or whatever. I've been trying different things to see what suits my taste bud. Okay, so there's no hard and fast rule. Whatever works for you is fine. Okay, so I'm going to assemble this and eat it and let you know what it tastes like later. Okay, I've cut up the vegetables, the broccoli and beetroot. I use about half a beetroot and half of it is left here. And the skin of the beetroot, together with a little bit of fresh, I keep aside here because I use it for juicing. Okay, since my Kuving slow juicer can handle the beetroot skin, I think there's no point in wasting it by throwing it away, since I already washed the beetroot with sodium bicarbonate alkaline water. So I save this for juicing. Okay, and then I'm gonna put this onto the steamer now for 4 minutes, and then it'll be ready, and then I'll tell you what spices and herbs I use for eating. Okay, the vegetables are in the steamer and they've got 4 minutes to go. Yep, 4 minutes ago, and here in the steamer. Okay, so it will switch itself off automatically after 4 minutes, and then I'll put it in a big bowl, a serving bowl, and then I'll put my spices. Okay. Okay, these are my steamed vegetables here, except for the potatoes, which I've taken out here, and I'm gonna cut them up before adding it back into my steamed vegetable dish. Okay, I've cut up the sweet potatoes. These are the Indonesian honey sweet potato. This is the Japanese sweet potato. Only the skin is purple, the flesh is white. These are the other potatoes, other new potatoes. As you can see, I've left the skin on because, as I mentioned earlier, 90% of the nutrition is in the skin. So it's a waste if you peel and throw away the skin. Okay, but before you eat the skin, make sure you soak the vegetables, fruit, and sweet potatoes or whatever in a solution, in an alkaline solution, to get rid of any pesticide residue. You can use Kangen alkaline water, pH 11.5 water, or in my case, as my enhancer is running out and it's locked down and I don't know when I can get more, I'm using a tablespoon of sodium bicarbonate, which is baking soda, per liter of water. All right. These are the vegetables and mushrooms that I've got here. Usually I also add Brussels sprouts or cauliflower or carrots or celery, but I think I've got some celery leaves. I'll put that on top later. So let me assemble my salad and come back to you. Okay, in here I've got celery tops, the green bits of the leafy bits of the celery. So I'm gonna cut them up and put it on top of my salad, which is here, which I've already got my potatoes and sweet potatoes together with the cabbage and broccoli. Okay, I've added the vinegar as well as the spices, the dried mints and the mixed herbs. You can also use Italian herbs if you want, and the parsley leaves. Okay, I'm going to stir it up and eat it. And before that, I also want to tell you, I was a bit itchified, so I put a few dashes of this chaat masala. This is a new batch which I made today. It's got very nice fragrance. It's very aromatic. I wish you could smell this. What do you call it? First time I'm trying this particular blend. So, what do you call it? I'll let you know how it tastes like. I put amla powder as well. In fact, I finished my amla powder, so there's no more. What do you call it? Amla, as you know, has the most antioxidants. And spices have polyphenols, which are antioxidants too. So I'm gonna stir this up and eat it, and I'll let you know what it tastes like after I've done with it. I'm actually quite full. I've ate quite a lot. This is what's left. So I'm gonna take a break now and have it later, maybe in about an hour or so. I'll be hungrier. Actually, ideally one should eat just before nightfall. The longer you eat after dark, the not so good it is for you, the worse it is for you, actually. Let's be blunt about it. Because the eyes have a blue light sensor, and this blue light sensor is sensitive to blue light in daylight, light of 450 nanometers. And this blue light sensor, if it detects blue light, it will switch on a whole family of enzymes called cytochrome P450 or CYP450, and it's got the name P450 because it's sensitive to light of 450 nanometers. So if you're not exposed to light of 450 nanometers, these enzymes are switched off, and when they're switched off, any food that you eat will be automatically stored as fat in your body and not metabolized. Okay, so if you don't want to get fat, don't eat at night, eat during daylight hours. Of course, it's difficult during fasting month, so I try to eat as soon as it's possible after buka. after Maghrib and try to finish it as soon as possible. But now it's already quite late, so I may keep this in the fridge for tomorrow, or if I'm hungry in about an hour's time, I might finish it. I will see how it goes. One final note, when you eat the way I eat, which is a low fat, high nutrient density, low calorie density food, you let your stomach decide whether you've had enough or not. Okay, if you feel full, then you've had enough. If you don't feel full, keep on eating. You can eat as much as you want until your stomach tells your brain it's full, it don't have to feed me anymore. Okay, this is a very different paradigm from portion control and calorie counting and all that. I don't have to count calories because most of the foods here, vegetables, are very low in calorie density. Even potatoes, you'll be surprised, are quite low in calorie density, and they are whole foods. Okay, they are whole foods. Okay, they have a lot of soluble fiber. The vegetables have a lot of insoluble fiber, but both of them have phytonutrients. And for the potatoes, the phytonutrients are mostly in the skin. So don't peel and throw the skin away, because you'll be throwing away 90% of the nutritional value. There is a video, and I'll put a link shortly, of a man in Australia from Melbourne who ate nothing but potatoes for one whole year, and he didn't die. In fact, he lost a lot of weight, and he looked a lot better and was much healthier than before he started. So I'm not recommending that you eat only potatoes for a year, but what I'm trying to tell you is don't be scared of potatoes. They won't make you fat or ill or whatever. And try to keep the skin on. Okay, so the insoluble fiber in the vegetables are not for you because you will pass it out, but they are to feed your gut biota, your microbiome, your gut microbiome. Okay, they survive on the cellulose, which is the insoluble fiber, and they will actually produce things for your body, including vitamin B12, including 70% of your immunity is produced by your gut microbiome, as well as 90% of your hormones and neurotransmitters are produced by your gut microbiome, not by you. So these are your friends, so you have to feed them, and you feed them by eating food which is rich source of insoluble fiber, cellulose. Now the soluble fiber does a certain magic. What it does is when it goes in your body and you drink water, it will swell. And when it swells, it will trigger the sensors in your stomach and gut, and will tell your brain that it's full, you can stop eating. Okay, so that's the function of soluble fiber, as well as slowing down the absorption of sugars or carbohydrates that you eat, so that you don't get a sugar spike or hyperglycemia. Okay, you will get a flattening of the curve effect, to borrow a phrase from the pandemic. Okay, so okay, I'm gonna close this now and stop talking and have a rest and see if I'm hungry in an hour's time. I'll continue. If not, I'll put it in the fridge and eat it tomorrow.